There are a few new artists breaking through on the scene this year in the music industry. Are they really organic, and are the people loving them? Or are they music industry plants? We're here to talk about it. Let's go.
Arkatech Beatz.
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's the Arkatech Beatz Music Business Podcast. We are your hosts, platinum producers, Arkatech Beatz. I'm Juggernaut.
I am Mike Drama D.
And together we make the super duper group, Arkatech Beatz. If it's your first time here, make sure that you're like, commenting, and subscribing. Make sure that you're hitting those notification bells to help the algorithm. And we thank you for your support. And today we want to talk about music industry plants. I know you've heard the term a lot. What is a music industry plant? What's going on? And we wanted to kind of talk about that because there are a lot of new artists that are, not a lot, but there are a few artists that are breaking through this year. And some of the success has kind of felt like, well, dang, it just came out of nowhere. You know, are they really organic, or is there really some, there's something behind all of that, right? Yeah. So we want to define what a music industry plan is, and, you know, and then give you some of the tips that you can kind of look out for and say, okay, so you can identify when somebody looks like they're organic or they're promoted as being organic, but that really ain't the case. So let's jump into that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a lot of artists that come and go, you know, and one of the questions have been, you know, when an artist just pops out of nowhere and all of a sudden there's some big phenomenon. The key thing to look at, you know, to be honest, is, you know, one of the first things you have to ask yourself is, are they truly independent? You know, or they you know, they say, oh, I'm indie. And it's been almost like a fad now. Like, I'm independent. But is there a major corporation backing you? You know, is the real question. Like, that's what needs to be answered. If you're independent, you're spending your own money. You're utilizing your own personal resources. You are not signed, or you're not a part of a major machine. You're not a part of the Sony system. You're not a part of the Warner Brothers system. You're not a part of the Universal system. And even if you're distributed, you know, by one of these corporations, you know, you're still within their system in some sort of way. True independent means that you're doing everything your own, including the distribution. That's a true independent. You know, there's independent where you got major distribution. We're not really necessarily talking about that. We're talking about more, you're doing everything on your own, real independent. You know, and you have to ask yourself, you know, some of these artists are coming out saying, I'm independent. You know, you look behind the scene, you know, they may have an independent label, but they're distributed through a major. And when that happens, you're utilizing their system.
And that is sort of like the definition of the music industry plant to a degree, right? Those are those people that kind of go around saying that they're independent, going around saying that they're not part of a machine, but behind the scenes, that's really what the situation is. Because if you really think about it, for those who are really independent artists, you know how hard it is to break through. Right. You know how hard it is to get some traction. You know how hard it is to get people to consume that music.
You could get noticed.
To get noticed, right. So when you see an artist that just ascends to the top real quick and all of a sudden got this hit, quote unquote, viral song out of nowhere. Listen, viral isn't really viral. Like, you know, people have to be very clear that, you know, a song can become viral by basically having a song marketed or provided to influencers that can make a song appear to go viral on its own. But it had major dollars backing those influencers to promote those songs on certain platforms. And it gives the appearance of, hey, it just got found out, and the appearance of it's an organic situation. And then what happens is the rest of us now are running around chasing this situation, thinking that you can have that same type of organic success, where really it's anything but that. It's really a person that's being, you know, very strategically marketed and placed into the industry through their connections through the industry and not organically at all. You know what I mean? So, there's a handful of artists right now that are jumping out. We're not really trying to call any names because, people don't really like being, considered industry plants. But, it really is what it is. Sometimes artists are selected for that to sometimes, move an agenda.
But
let's
hold off on the agenda a little bit.
All right, let's hold off on that. Let's go back.
This is a little bit, but let's talk more of being independent. When you're independent, you're going to have to fund everything, and it's a real brutal grind. Let's be honest. It's not something that's easily done, and people are shouting out, "Yeah, I'd rather go independent." And they hear about owning your own masters, and all this about being independent, entrepreneur. It's not easy. Let's be clear. It's not an easy grind, and you're responsible for yourself. You have to get up at certain times of the day. You may have a team, you may not have a team. You may be 2 or 3 of you, and you have to, record your music, handle the business part of your music, handle the marketing, handling the promotion. And it's not an easy task to do. Your team has to be well-versed in some area of the music business and concentrate on those areas. And very often you have to wear multiple hats. Your person who's good at marketing also got to do the promotion, may be able to have to also, handle your webpage, your social media. You as an artist, you may have to also do your production or get your production and, form those relationships. There's a whole lot of things that has to be done way before you put out a project. So the whole independent thing is not, for the wary. It's not, so much glitz and glam. There's a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of money spent, when you're being independent. Let's be clear on that. A lot of times you may see, oh, this person is popping, but you don't know what it took to get there. You don't know the behind the scenes. And I think that's one of the most discouraging things. Sometimes you just really don't know, are they an industry plant? Did they really work? There are a lot of things that happen behind the music scenes that you do not always get to see. And there's a lot of fraudulent going on also. A lot of numbers being doctored, a lot of fake this, fake that. So it's a real mystery a lot of times. So when the artist does pop out, you're like, where did this person come from? Did they grind? Where's their track record?
Right.
So there's a lot of things to be said about the industry plant, and let's not take away from the people who are actually grinding and have worked for their success, because there's that too. There's people who have worked for their success and they're automatically labeled, oh, they're an industry plant. Nah, they work for this. They've been grinding. They've been circulating on the ground. And just because you haven't heard from them doesn't mean that they haven't worked hard to get where they're at.
I think that's another way that you can kind of identify the industry plan situation. It's kind of like, you can't find, their come up. You can't find where the origin started, what actually got them really bubbling. A lot of time when an artist really is doing their thing organically, it leaves a footprint.
Right.
There's going to be a footprint that you'll be able to follow back. You'll be able to jump back on their videos and see that, hey, these person really put in 100 videos or 50 videos. Like, this person been doing it for X amount of years, and you can kind of see the gradual and continual growth over a time. When people just kind of pop out of nowhere and say, oh man, this song is just hitting situation, like you said, it's like, you know what that is already. And then without even really getting into the whole, buffering of numbers and all of that, and that's a whole nother, conversation in itself. And I think we probably need to touch on that as well. But for those who are looking at this, I think also you touched on that a little bit, is when you say it's kind of discouraging, because what happens is that it sets this idea that anybody can do it, right? Like, oh, anybody can just come out here and can have that success. And I think what it does is that it's basically, you know, giving a lie to a degree. Like, no, everybody can't do this. Everybody has to have a certain level of resources and a certain level of dedication and a certain level of a team behind them in order to really become successful at this. Everyone cannot do it. And that's why you see music coming out at such a high clip that sometimes the poor quality, it doesn't hit at all. Is because it's the idea that everybody can do it, because they sell this idea that everyone can do it. And I think that's also part of the way that they maintain the ecosystem, right? And the ecosystem is to sell a bunch of services and stuff like this to independent artists with the idea that you can actually become like this person. But the truth of the matter is that's not really the situation. It's really just marketing the products and the services to kind of keep you in that loop of being, hopeful that you can be like that next person who was organically successful. And that's just not the case.
It's like the music business have also been a ploy. Like it's you can do it too kind of thing. Like one of those ads, late night ads of the music business.
Infomercial, right?
Right.
Music business infomercial.
Where all you got to do is, call this number and get this and get that, and you can do it too. And it seems to be, Kate, that it seems to be a market for that, where they'll sign a whole bunch of people to their smaller distribution independent platform. And, you got to pay for your own everything, and they'll just wait and see if it does anything. And there's literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people signed in those situations. And nothing's happening, because you thought that, I signed, I got this, that I'm automatically, got it going on. And you can still be signed and still have to put up your own money. You can be signed and you still have to utilize your own resources. So it kind of goes both ways, You could be signed and you still got to do the brunt of everything, So
if you think about it, though, it's really a slick way for the larger situations. It's a slick way to just get an automatic 20% of a master recording without having to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So here a bunch of you guys are going to do. So like I signed a bunch of you guys to a quote unquote, indie distribution situation. The indie distribution situations are typically 80-20, right? You retain 80%. The distribution takes 20%, whatever. Mm-hmm. And basically you're just going to keep making masters because you're trying to pop, right? So you're going to just keep putting out songs, and you're going to put out songs. And remember, most labels operate on catalogs. Right. So they need you and artists like you to help to develop those catalogs. And if you have enough songs being flooded into those catalogs, they will eventually start to generate, but there's no risk for them.
Right.
They didn't give you any money, and it doesn't cost us anything to distribute it.
And on top of that, they could make, as a company, they could make deals on certain things and leverage all of those 20%.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And then when they go and sell the company or get this or get that, and it kind of leaves you still stuck where you are while they've used your piece to extend their business and to obtain financing and other opportunities. It's genius.
Gotta love it, but we're talking about industry plans, people.
Mm-hmm.
Some of your favorite songs right now.
Did they work for it?
Some of your favorite songs right now. I know folks are looking at it like, where is this influx of ratchet music coming from?
All right, let's talk about it.
Right? Where is it coming from? Like, what is this influx of these ratchet songs? Right? And like all of these songs that are coming out that seem like it's like, there's a conversation online where women are feeling like certain songs are denigrated toward Black women, and they're from certain female artists. I'm trying to just kind of remain politically correct here. And there's a division going on. And I see the division going on, and people are asking, like, is this by design? Is this division, or is this depiction of Black female rap artists or hip hop artists is this a design to create another negative stereotype for Black women?
And has this been going on all along with the men?
And has this been going along, right? For the men, like for the men now, we've been dealing with this for quite some time, where a lot of the negative images and stereotypes, and have this been industry plans? Have they been selecting the most polarizing, right, and the most denigrating artists to promote on the industry as an industry plant, quote unquote, and then this is used to propagate a stereotype and or a narrative of a particular genre of music or a particular community of people. Now, that's a deeper conversation when we talk about the industry plan. Like, just being the person that they're promoting is one thing, but are they being promoted with an agenda? That's the next question that we're asking.
That's a very good question. Because it really makes you wonder, the popular music, the things that are being said, the content, look, this is the first year that, as far as hip hop's concerned, there has been such a minimum of number one hits. And it's strange because it's the 50th year of hip hop. Yeah. So this should be something celebrating. We should be having great records popping up everywhere, reflecting of 50 years of hip hop. We should have all sorts of records popping up all over the place, different variations, top-notch production, top-notch content. We should have a smorgasbord filled with all sorts of great records for the 50th year of hip hop. And to have a year of lows and hardly any number ones, and this, popularity when it comes to quote unquote ratchet music, it makes you wonder, is this done on purpose? Are there executives behind the scene, or maybe the board members of these companies? Are they pushing that agenda? Is this a way of hurting hip hop or hurting the culture, or, what is this?
You said something in a previous podcast where you said basically they're gentrifying the music, right? And you say, "Wait, what do you mean gentrifying the music?" Yeah. They're basically decreasing the value, right, so that they can buy it, right? Or people sell their catalogs at a lower rate, and then after all of those catalogs have been purchased or sold, then all of a sudden they're sent through the roof. Right.
But that's what's done on the stock market, and that's what's done in real estate. It's the same tactics.
Right.
They do things in the neighborhood to bring down the value, then they come in and they buy it at a low.
Buy low. Yep. Yeah. And shoot it back up.
And
so you kind of ask yourself, like, is this by design? Is the thought here to say, okay, we talked about this in the last podcast, is to deprioritize hip hop. Go to the other genre, right? Then start to lower the amount for the deals that they give you guys, right? Lower the advances, lower the marketing budgets, lower everything, because they say it's not a priority anymore. Get the masses for cheap,
right?
Once that other stuff kind of runs its course, then jack everything back up again, and then all of a sudden it's the hottest thing since fish grease again. Because remember what I think is the key here with streaming is that it doesn't have to be significant right now. It doesn't have to have that huge first week sales, right? It can come out very quietly now, and then
next year
it can explode through a quote unquote meme, or viral sound, or whatever that might be, or dance trend, or whatever that might look like. So that might be the trick all along, is to really try to accumulate stuff now on the low, and then now, okay, revisit it, and then say all these songs now that you see that are jumping off now. I see a bunch of songs that are getting dances and stuff like that now that are old. Like, what I'm saying? Like one particular, like this CeeLo Green and Timberland song that has like kind of a line dance thing going on trend on
Mhm.
YouTube. The song is old. The song is maybe over a decade old, and it has a resurge based off of a dance.
Jug, you know, if these corporations can do that, because to be honest, music catalog is real estate. Same thing.
It is. At this point, it is.
So when these corporations come in and buy out people's catalogs, as you've been seeing all over the place, they buy out these catalogs, then they could go to their partners and pay, or with good relationships, push the button, and these things become popular through the different services. You know, these same records that you no longer own because you sold it can now be on these streaming platforms, go viral, do all these things with the push of a button because these corporations are in bed with each other. Now they're stakeholders. Now they're partners. So if you no longer own it and somebody else owns it now, they can go to their friends. Because they're all, when it comes to these real estate and these major companies, they're all invested together. They go in together. And now the TikToks, the how does this person go viral? Well, you got the major corporation behind it. You got relationships. This is the Spotifys, the YouTubes, all of these companies, there's boards, there's executives, there's people behind it. And they all know each other. The music business is very, very small. The entertainment world is very small. Everyone knows each other. Everybody's invested in certain things. There are groups, there are partners. So when you give up your ownership for whatever financial gain, somebody's going to take that and they're going to utilize and exploit that. It's no different from someone buying out your neighborhood. When these contractors and these companies come in to buy out the neighborhoods and gentrify it, you know, they lower the value. And then when they lower the value, you sell, you clear out the neighborhood, everybody gets out. They take that same neighborhood and they put in the coffee shops and they put in the luxury stuff and they put this in, and too late, you sold off. It's the same thing. Stocks, if you know anything about stocks, there are companies that do things to short and everything for the stocks to go down. Put out this type of information, put out this type of news.
Yeah, fake news. Yeah.
The value goes down. Guys come in, buy up the stock at low. Boom, boom, pops back up.
Yeah.
Same with crypto.
Yeah,
Same with crypto. Thing. So you see a pattern. It's the same thing over and over, and now it's being done in music.
Well, at least in the genre of hip hop, because everybody else is thriving. It's like every other genre is having record years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is the genre that seems to be struggling all of a sudden. Like, and it hasn't struggled in such a long time, and all of a sudden it's struggling. But it kind of, like you said, it corresponds, or it correlates with the recent sale of a lot of hip hop catalogs. It seems like that, it looks like that might be the play, and the play might be to devalue it a little bit and to still go out and acquire the catalogs, but to devalue it a little bit more. And you see what's happening right now, man. It's like,
but also it's a dual thing, because, you know, when it comes to agendas, you know, the powers that be are very smart. You know, they like to get a 2-for-1 or 3-for-1, you know. So while that's happening, you're also sending out a public message to these women. You're sending out a public message to our community and these men. You know, when this music is consistently being played, like a certain kind of music is just over and over and over and over, you know. And if you have young children listening to this type of music and seeing the images of our women, our men behaving in this way, in this pattern, and seeing this image, and now children are smart, man. Like they have these iPhones, they have these tablets, they have these computers. They're on these computers. They're looking at YouTube from 7, 6 years old. They're seeing this imagery.
Yeah,
very young, you know. And you got this image always showing up, always being displayed, algorithms are always kicking it. This is always going viral. They're seeing this stuff, and it plants something in their the sponge, in their mind so early. So it's more than one agenda happening right now, and we really we just really need to be informed of what's going on.
We're talking about industry plans, folks, and what is an industry plan, and what's really the agenda behind industry plans, especially in hip hop? Like, what's really going on with this situation? Like, and this thing to me is I think it's deeper than a lot of situations. I think people just sometimes just think that, hey, this person is just popping and they're just popular and
they're having fun. I hate that. Oh, they're just having fun. Oh, we just having fun with our friends.
Nah. Like that might be the case for you, but in a situation like this, you have to think about, like, no one really thinks about the higher level implications and what it really can cause, the damage that it's causing. And I think what's happening for us now, and because we have been in this so long, we've been able to see the effects. And the ones that are new to the game, they don't know what it used to be. They're not old enough to know. They don't know what this is what they're just used to. This is what they're normal for them. They don't know what it used to be like and how it used to be balanced, and how there were, I would say that some folks were industry plans to a degree, but you didn't have it so pervasive right now. Like, it wasn't so much. So in this situation, we're looking at people are like, okay, why is this popular again? Why is this song doing what it's doing right now? Like, why? Like, why is this song popular right now? And then people say, well, people identify with it and people see themselves. I'm like, you still basically telling me that the majority of people see themselves this way? That's a problem in itself.
Yeah. I think when you're young, you think about just today and having fun, and that's it. And I see a lot of, well, you guys did it when you were young. You guys were able to do this, and this artist that y'all listened to or y'all was part of that did this and did that. And, I would say, yeah. And look at where we are because of some of the effects of that, and then thank God, like, we have more variations to kind of offset some of those things.
Right.
Yeah, we had certain artists that was on that, but then we still had enough music, enough different variations that it wasn't just that, so that is what I always say when people say, oh, back in the days you had this, y'all had that, and so forth. You had your phone, we had our, and also we're able to see at where we are as far as age and being 50 years, the results of that kind of music, the result of just that, So if now in year 50, if we're doing just that kind of music alone, and continuously keep putting that out, what do you think we're going to be in another 20 to 50 years? And now this time we don't have as much variation of music also to kind of offset things. Yeah. So if we're just getting ratchet music, gun music, money phone music, if we're just getting that alone, and there's no good mixture of different kinds of music to kind of, okay, I don't want to listen to that, I can listen to that. You just have that alone. Where are we going to be in 20 to 30 to 50 years? The results of just that kind of music being played over and over to our younger generation.
It's crazy, bro. I don't think people are looking that far forward. I think people make the critical mistake and just say, hey, that's just music. And no, that's a critical mistake. You have to look at all media as programming. Like, that's being honest. Like, all media has a function of programming, and you have to start looking at it like that, especially when we're talking about younger, undeveloped brains for children, right? This stuff is programming them, whether you want to admit it or not. Like, it's programming your children if you're not careful. For people who aren't listening, like, this is not something that we can just continue to just kind of ignore and just say, hey, this is just entertainment. Like, hey, if I'm playing with a video game that's basically a simulation killing everybody, it's programming. Like, you have to understand it's desensitizing you. It's programming people for higher levels of violence, aggression, etc., etc., etc. So you have to really pay attention to this stuff. And I know we may be talking a little bit too deep for heads. Heads may look at that and may say, hey, this is not what we want to be dealing with. But we have to sometimes look at the music industry, and we have to look at some of the artists that are elevated. There are particular artists that are elevated, and you have to continue to ask yourself, why is this particular artist being elevated this way? Right? Now, is it the music? Is the music really that good? Or does the artist represent an idea or something that they want to basically promote? Is that an idea of, female empowerment? Is it the idea of prostitution culture? Is it the idea of maybe, alternate religious, worship? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even going to go into that one. Like, there are different levels of different things that people are trying to basically promote through this music. And you have to continue to ask yourself, why is this particular artist being pushed to the forefront? What is it about this artist that's attached to this artist? Who's behind this artist? That's basically trying to promote what this artist wants to sell right now. And it's not just music. Folks got to really look deeper behind that.
The question I have is, are they popular because the majority of people believe and think that same way? That's the question, and it's kind of scary to think about it. Is that what the public wants to hear? Is that the majority wants to hear this kind of music? And if that's the case, what does that say for our society? What does that say for our culture? If this is really popular, is this something that they enjoy, and that it's kind of mind-boggling? Like, is it not just programming? That's another thing we got to be concerned about also. Is this really popular? Is the majority of our culture now this kind of music? Are all these kids, all these communities, this is the records that they love and respect? This type of behavior?
This type of messaging? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that it's mostly propaganda. I'm going to say that because if you read any of these books in terms of like marketing or product psychology, where people are trying to sell products and using psychology to sell products, and it's always this herd mentality situation where it says, okay, if I have a YouTube video and the video is either trending or the video has, say, 1 million views. Say this video has 1 million views. And remember, folks, 1 million views can be purchased. This is a fact. This is not anything that I'm making up. If I, have the right mix of views, comments, likes, whatever, it comes into your feed now, because now what happens is these type of things trigger an algorithmic event, right? The system sees that it has a surge in views, it pushes it out to more people organically. People see it organically and say, hey, this got 1 million views. It must be good. 1 million people already liked it. No one is thinking if it's real or not. So everyone is just kind of following what's in front of them. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than if we say, hey, we want you to either do this. If we talk about the COVID situation where we want you to do a particular action, everybody did it. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's on repeat. So no one questioned the authenticity of anything. No one challenged the facts. So you always have that situation where with music or anything in popular culture, Like now is the time where everybody has to challenge everything because we got AI and we got bots and we got everything. So now is the time where people really need to take 2 steps back and say, do we really like this shit?
Right.
And if folks don't like this shit for real, we just can't, I think the action can't no longer be like, okay, I'm just going to ignore it. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to actively maybe dislike it, actively remove it out of your feed so that you don't continue to perpetuate the next one like that. Like you have to start taking true actions to remove it from, your feed and remove it from popularity. I guess that's what you're going to have to do in this situation. You just can't say, okay, I'm going to just let it ride. It's going to keep popping up. It doesn't stop.
Right.
Like especially if you watched it all. If you watched it all, now the system takes you and says, okay, you like it, and let's give you more of it. That's how the system works. If you don't curate your social media feeds, and I say curate them yourself, meaning you have to go in, specifically mute, unfollow the things that you don't resonate with. That's the only way that you can basically kind of combat this type of thing. But if you just kind of just scroll to the next, scrolling past it isn't enough.
So folks really have to be mindful of what they're looking at.
What they're consuming.
Yeah, not just for their own what I like, but what the algorithm is going to.
Algorithm is going to continue to deliver it to you because you didn't, if you didn't take a negative action to remove it,
right,
it's going to take it as, okay, they liked it, they'll watch it, and they'll keep sending it to you.
So even if you look at something for a couple seconds and go, oh, look at this bullshit.
Look at this dumb shit, right? Like this dumbass shit. Look at this shit.
And in that moment, the algorithm says, oh, they liked it enough to stop on it. We don't necessarily know what the person is thinking, but we know that they stopped on them. So that's good enough to continue sending it.
Yeah, if you think about a platform like Facebook, they have a 3-second rule. Like, if you look at it for more than 3 seconds, it's kind of considered favorable, or it's considered a view. What?
So that's what the models have been getting away with all this time. Doing things on camera and certain lighting and positions, and they get their 3 seconds, and then they're popular. And then they can, now they were an influencer.
But technically they would be. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's like, okay, and then after you watch one, it won't stop. It won't come out of your feed.
Yeah, you literally have to clear your feed out. Possibly.
Yeah, it won't come out. Like you see, you know that, and I know that. It won't come out. It will not come out of your feed. And that's part of the situation that I think is what the whole industry plan situation is, to kind of create a situation where, people can just continue to look at something that they want you to look at. Like we have to think about a true music industry plan is very polarizing in some way or fashion. Like there's something about this person that they're putting in here that either you're going to find it, like very either like you're not either going to like it at all. You're going to say, what the hell is this? Or you're going to find it mildly entertaining, or you're going to say it's so ratchet that you can't even believe it. You're like in disbelief,
right?
That this shit is here. Like, this is how we got here. And then before you know it, you've watched an entire video.
You're just in disbelief.
In your mind, you're like, it can't get any worse than this shit. And it just continues to keep getting worse. And you're just like, yo, by the time you've watched the whole thing, you said, I want 4 minutes of my life back. You can't get that shit back. It's gone, bro. And they're going to they say, oh, you watched all of it? Okay, we're going to send you more shit like that.
It's like the car wreck on the highway. Everybody's going to stop and look, and you may put your hand up for a second, and you may like, like, oh my God, but the point is you slow down.
And look, and look at this situation too now, right? Like we've been dealing with this, especially in hip hop, maybe the last 20 years, right? Where the influence of negative rap music has become the narrative and stereotypes for Black men.
Yep.
right? This is something that we've had to deal with. If you dress a certain way, if you look a certain way, then
Yep.
you have become the negative hip hop stereotypical black person in America. Okay, now it looks like the black women are being targeted.
It's your turn now.
And now it's your turn to now carry the burden of this stereotypical black American woman in hip hop.
Yep.
And what happens is if you guys continue to basically prop up the ones that are basically promoting prostitution culture, how can we differentiate that in the community for our ladies in that type of situation? Now you're going to have to carry that stereotype that we had to carry the thug stereotype for 20 years. Now you guys are going to have to carry the prostitution situation for 20 years. And now how is that going to basically impact you? Like you have to make sure that you have to understand that this music is basically driving stereotypes and driving different situations for our community. And if we accept it, then that's what it is.
You know, somewhere along the line, it went from telling about the conditions in our neighborhoods and what's going on to, I guess, glorifying it in some extent.
That's what it is. So that's where we are.
But then it turned again into not just glorifying it, but this is what we are.
Damn.
And that's it. And I'm proud of it. You know, like I understand as far as hip hop, it made you proud regardless of whatever situation you were in. Because hip hop was also supposed to give you some pride. It was also supposed to say, you know what, I'm in a messed up position, but I'm not going to think low of myself. You know, yeah, we made nothing out of something. It was supposed to be that. We made nothing out of something. We're going to be all right. We're going to work through this and we're going to grind to get up out of it. But somewhere along the line, it turned into, yeah, this is us. This will always be us. I'm keeping it real. This is it. I'm always going to be like this. And putting a certain pride level to that. And it's like, nah, homie, like, yeah, you have to kind of think that way so that you can grind your way, but to get out of that. This ain't got to be it, and that's all. You know, what happened to, I'm doing this to get out the hood. I'm doing this to, feed my family, to get out.
Or even doing it to make the hood better.
Yeah, but it's turned into something where, I'm proud of this. This is where I'm from. This is where I'm at. This is what it's about. Boom, boom, boom. And the message has changed. And I don't know. This is why we're in a situation where we are. And so many people are saying, are especially, if you've been in the music business or you've been a fan of hip hop for so many years, now you're like, I'm not really digging what I'm hearing right now. I'd rather just listen to what I was to before. And it reflects. You see the shows. You see certain shows can't sell. You see number one, there's no number ones in hip hop like that. It's reflective. So we're not just saying this because of our own personal whatever. It's the facts are there.
You just said a whole lot, bro. Like, and I hope people are really listening, man. Like that's really like a real profound observation that you just made, and just saying like, this is us now. Like, babe, when did it become that? Like, this is us. Like, it was always supposed to try to get us to a different level. It wasn't supposed to keep us where we were. Like, that's really the reality of the situation. And it's like, I think we've grown to accept, the community as it is.
Yeah.
Now we're not even looking to get better.
Right.
Like,
we're not looking to fix the problems.
We're like, what happened?
Because it was supposed to be, yo, this is happening. You got to do something.
Right.
Like, we don't like this. Like, our communities is like this. We don't like this. You got to do something. Tell somebody. This got to be fixed.
And we're using the music as the platform to say this is what got to get fixed.
Again, the music was promotion to kind of tell what was going on. Right. It wasn't supposed to be the thing. It was used as a vehicle to say, hey, this is what's going on. Somebody got to tell somebody. It got to get somewhere so that it can be heard and some changes can be made. Our communities don't need to be like this. We need a better educational system. We need better services in our neighborhood. We need better health care. We need better environments with food and so forth. We need better information. We need better living conditions. And then it turned into, no, this is our living conditions. This is how it is. Be on the block all day. This is how it is. No, we don't gotta be with that all the time, day in and day out. We shouldn't be satisfied with that and say, this is us. This is not us. We're better than this.
It's Arkatech Beatz Music Business Podcast, folks.
Sorry, I thought it was like...
Make sure you're checking us out at ArkatechBeatz.com. But that's so real that you just said that shit like that. Like, it's like, that's real because like it was supposed to be the platform to promote what was wrong for it to get fixed. You promote what was wrong to highlight it, not promote, to highlight what was wrong and then help us find a way to fix it. What's the solution? It's like now we've accepted what it is and it's ingratiated in who we are. We've made that our identity. And it's like, why? But again, this goes back to the topic at hand. It's like we're talking about the music industry. We're talking about if it's plants or if this is being done strategically by design. Like, is that what's happening?
Another form of systematic oppression.
Like it kind of like that movement, like I said, who cloned Tyrone, right? Like you got to put these people in place to kind of keep everybody on the level, right? You put these people on play. You put these people in certain positions so that the culture cannot progress past a certain ceiling. Like it won't progress because we keep putting these people here, and the people who should be coming up and getting the platforms to be true leaders. We're not getting those. And that's what I meant when I was saying earlier about the agenda is a 2-for-1. Not only are they getting the catalogs to make money off of the music, we're selling it. Everybody's selling it. So not only are they taking the real estate, the catalogs, but they're also making sure that, okay, we got this person over here, this kind of person over there, the drug dealer, the gun runner, the prostitute. We got them strategically placed in the community so it could always stay at a certain level and you don't progress. Yes. Boy, I hope people are paying attention, man. Listen, this episode is brought to you by our books. If you haven't already gotten them, please make sure that you guys understand that you're getting it. It helps to support the channel and helps to keep the lights on, of course, outside of any, production, of course. But, it's a songwriter's guide to song registration. If you haven't already got that, that's out there for free for you guys to basically make sure that you're registering your songs. Also, the musician's guide to music copyrights. Make sure that you're looking at that and getting your copyright situation good. The musician's guide to music publishing. Everybody needs to understand that. And also the ultimate guide to forming your own music LLC. If your business structures are not correct, you're setting yourself up for failure. So before we get out of here, right, we got a few more minutes on this situation before we get out of here. Is there any parting words for the industry plants? The industry plants, we're on to you. We know what's going on.
Won't be around next year.
Listen, you won't be. And now you can say that shit again. They will not be around next year. Like, we watch it just come and go, but the damage that it does.
I think for every artist, they really have to envision why they are here. I think every artist has a social accountability. Every artist has a social responsibility, big or small. So as an artist, when you're trying to make your way, yeah, you want to feed your family, you like the music you do, but you have to also think, what impact or what message am I sending out to the world? And when the world, when karma and the world turns around and looks at you, are you going to be happy with the reflection you're going to see? Are you going to be happy what's going to come back? What you're putting down, are you going to be happy with the results that come in? Will your children or the generation after you, are they going to be proud and with the message that you put down? Because everything we're putting down now is going to be out there forever. So you have to be very mindful of, okay, what am I doing? How am I adding to the culture? Because it's going to come back to you. And you may not be happy with the way it comes back. So I think for every artist, they need to take a second out and just be reflective of that as they're doing their music.
And I want to point out to everybody, I know folks may say, well, the other genres don't have to worry about that. Well, the other communities and the other genres are not under constant attack. There's different situations for us. So like you said, there's a different social responsibility for our community and our content, our music, so forth and so on. We can't worry about what the other folks are doing because the other folks are not suffering the way we are.
And the other folks have different groups that ensure that certain content doesn't come out. And when it does come out, they attack those individuals.
And they get them in line.
Right.
And they straighten y'all up real fast. If we y'all are doing something, we don't have those type of.
We don't have that, and that's why we have so much kinds of things that's running amok.
That's real, bro. It's the Arkatech Beatz Music Business Podcast. Make sure you're checking us out at www.arkatechbeats.com. Make sure you're following us on all socials at arkatechbeats.com. And again, the one thing that we did forget to say, hey, that our inbox is open for music submissions and music feedback. Again, we will be doing lives, and we will be making sure that folks can, just get their music reviewed, give them feedback real time, so that you can kind of get an idea of, how to improve your craft and how to get better, and making sure that you can, create some longevity in this game. That's really what it's all about.
Also, it's out. City Kings is out.
We didn't promote it, but we should be promoting it. There will be some releases that are coming out from us in terms of some music, in terms of beats, instrumentals. We have been putting out some albums that's going to be coming out a little bit, and that's just really for the people to kind of just vibe with, get a feel with, and also to help cultivate those next set of artists by putting some music out that they can write to, and start to kind of develop their own sounds.
Yeah, check out City Kings. That's currently out now. So, 10 instrumentals, go to your favorite streaming service, whether it's Spotify, YouTube, wherever. And, search City Kings, Kings with a Z, or Arkatech Beatz. It'll pop up. Sit back and enjoy, or go work out to it, write some rhymes, vibe, clean your house with it. Also, if you hear a record you like, just reach out to us. We can see if we can make it work for you. Go to our website. It may be available for, a lease. So, just reach out.
That's what's up. Any parting words, my friend? My cuz.
Nah, man, just be creative, man. Creative, but there's no reason why now you can't be creative. So much things are sounding the same. Everybody's doing one thing. So now is a great time for you guys to be creative. There's a lot of beat packs out. Like, there's no reason why you should be sounding crazy, like sounding like take advantage. Yeah, there's so many new sounds. There's so much
the joke is they got more tools than we ever had. You can fix your vocals, you can fix your pitch, you can change your pitch, you can change your cadence, you can help with writing your lyrics, AI, and your music should not sound this bad. But that's a conversation for another episode.
There's so much tools to be creative, for everything to be just sounding one particular way. So as always, I would always say, be creative. Don't stick to the box. Do other things. Try something new. Do things differently with melodies and your vocals and your raps and your content, with your visuals. Like, utilize technology to do some of the things that have never been done before. Like, now you can do almost anything. Go as far as your mind can imagine. That's
real,
what
bro.
I say.
All right, now. Until next time.
Peace.
Peace, people. Stay safe out there.